Good morning, this is Sylvia, the crafty old lady. My daughter is expecting a baby in March and I wanted to make her a baby book. And so I thought I would show you today how I make the cover. Now, I had this book and I didn't want to make it a little tiny baby book, nor did I want to make it a giant one. So this one here is, it's about 7.5 by 9. So that's what how I'm going to use this as the cover. Now it was shiny, so I scuffed it up with my sanding block, and I'm going to cover it with this fabric. Now for the spine, I'm just going to leave it as a cloth spine, and I thought I would use this. And even though I think the colors go, I'm wondering if it's too overwhelming for this. Will it overwhelm the prettiness of this? So then I thought, well, this color would not be nice with it too, but it's too short. So what if I made like 3 little sections of different florals for the spine? So what I think I'm actually going to do is make 2 spines, because I can always use the spine I don't use on another book, and see which one I like best. But for now, I am going to cut my fabric to cover each cover, and then I'm going to show you how I make book cloth out of that. Got my book covers here. I'm going to just cut down the middle here, and I'm going to draw a line on the fabric here. And it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. I mean, try to get it as straight as you can, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And because you're not going to see if the edges aren't exactly straight. And so I'll go to about there. And I'm going to just kind of guesstimate where the middle is here. And I'd say right about there. I'm going to cut right down the middle here, whoop, and then I'm going to go over here and leave about this much space, probably more than I need, and let's see, we'll cut down to the other line, like that. I cannot cut a straight line to save my life, so that's why I draw my lines. Alright, and then we just cut. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I've got my Ultra Hold Heat and Bond, and I'm going to measure out pieces to iron on to my fabric. And then I will put tissue paper on the other side, and that's how I make book cloth. And I do this, I don't do this for every book, but with this fabric, I don't want the glue to show through or seep through, and so I want that barrier on the other side. And now I'm just going to kind of unroll this and take my fabric and just kind of, it doesn't have to be exactly the same size, and you really don't want it to be bigger, or else the glue is going to stick to your ironing board. I've made that mistake before. So I'm going to just kind of go in a little bit, like that. And let's see. It's right there, so I'm going to go up a little bit and then cut. And I'll cut 2 of these. I'm running out of Heat and Bond. I'm going to need to get some more. I got that one there. Let's see how wide it needs to be. We're doing this from here. It needs to come out to about here. And then up. I'll have about just enough heat and bond left for my spine. So I'll cut that out and then I'll show you how we put it together. Okay, I've also thought I'd show you the tissue paper. And I've got a couple pieces of just regular tissue paper from Dollar Tree. And if I was a professional bookmaker, I would definitely get proper tissue paper. But I don't think I need to do that. You know, I'm not a professional. I don't need to have professional materials for this project. I know some people use very fancy Japanese papers for their book cloth. I don't do that. So we're going to cut this down. I don't think, maybe I won't even need 2 pieces of tissue paper. I might be able to get the 2 pieces I need out of this. Let's find out. I hope. When I'm done with this, I'm going to iron everything separately and then together. So let's see now. This is this way. And we want to cut it right about there. So I think it's going to work. I don't need more tissue paper. So, like I said, I can't cut a straight line to save my life. So I'm going to draw one. And even then I probably can't. There we go. And then I need to heat up my iron. Looks like this one is a lot bigger than that one. Maybe I don't have enough. Which page was the page I needed? This one. Okay. So, actually, I'm a little inch too big here. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut that off now because I don't want to do it after I've heated it up. And also, this doesn't have to be exactly the same size as your fabric. You know, just close. Get it as close as possible. Okay, so I've got my pieces here. And we're going to go over to the iron now. So I have my ironing board set up, and I've made the mistake of ironing heat and bond directly onto this and ruined this cloth here. So I have an old dishcloth or dish towel on here to protect my ironing board cover. And I'm just going to iron each piece separately, and then we will iron things together. Okay. It is a gorgeous day today. We've had such beautiful, warm, spring-like weather. It's crazy for up here where we live in upstate New York. It's been in the 50s, and that's unusual for February. But it's really nice, and I love it. Yesterday, my husband and I went to go see a man, what was it, A Man Called Otto or something like that? I forget the name. With Tom Hanks. Really good movie. A little bit sad, but good. So I'm ironing my tissue paper now. Doesn't really look that different, but I like to iron it just in case there's like a crease that might mess up the heat and bond process and make a wrinkle. We don't want wrinkles. Alright, so now I'm going to turn my iron down to medium, let it cool off a minute, and we will get to putting the heat and bond on. Okay, you don't want a really hot heat for heat and bond. It's just supposed to be cool. cool iron. Now, you also have to protect your iron from the glue on the heat and bond, which is a trick. So if you're going to ruin something, I suggest you ruin your ironing board or your floss and do it this way. And you can see it's not exactly the same size, but that's okay. A lot of this is going to be extra that we don't need, and we're going to cut off. But like I said, we don't really want to get this glue on our iron or anything but the fabric, really. And you can see there's like a wrinkle. And then I'll turn it over, and hopefully the wrinkles aren't coming through to the fabric. Sometimes that happens. So I think that's good. We've got that. We're going to let that cool off. Right over there. Put this piece on. Keep checking to see if we're in the frame, and it looks like we are. So, we'll get our other piece of heat and bond and put it down. Just like that. Sort of in the middle. And iron that on. Alright, we're going to let that cool off. Now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to peel this off. Sometimes you might want to get the corners again. See, that one didn't get in the corner. I'm going to do my corners. I actually find it easier to get it off. Oh, looks like I need to do this some more. I find it easier to take it off from the middle. Okay. Let's check the other one and make sure it's all down good. My iron might not have been as hot as I thought it should have been. I don't know. They say keep it on medium. That's what I did. Alright, now let's peel this off and and get that all off. You can see it's shiny. There's a little piece here I gotta get off. So you want to keep the shiny side up, and we're going to attach our tissue paper to it. Sometimes this can get tricky and make wrinkles in the fabric too. So, and now my tissue paper is not quite as big as my heat and bond, so we're going to try to stay off the heat and bond. I guess it probably would be better to make your tissue paper bigger now that I think about it, because we don't, like I just got into that, and I don't really want to do that. I don't want to touch the heat and bond with my bare iron. Okay, so that is good. And now we will do the other side. And these are our covers. We're going to take this off from the middle, or not quite the corners. Put it down. Put our tissue paper on top. And this tissue paper is more to the right size. And we will iron. Yeah, there's a little bit right there sticking out, but that's alright. See how it kind of, I don't know if you can tell, just kind of wrinkled up right there. But I think it's fine. Let's turn it around. Yeah, you can tell. I'm not going to worry about it, but you can kind of see. For some reason that one didn't just come out quite right. As smooth as I would like it to be. But we're going to go with it. What I'm going to do now I am going to glue this entire side of the book and glue it to my fabric. I've got my little sponge thingy here, and that's what we're going to do. Sometimes I just put the glue, like I pour glue right out on the book cover or the cardboard, but today we're going to be fancy. And less messy, hopefully. I got my wipes. I should get one out because I'm going to have glue on my fingers, I'm sure. Yeah, I've had trouble before when I didn't scuff up a book cover and the glue didn't stick. So that's why I scuffed that up. So I'm learning that I kind of like using old book covers better than cardboard because they aren't warped and they don't warp. Okay, so we've got that coated. Let's push that down. There we go. And I'm going to wipe my fingers. Push that all down. I don't think I pushed this one all down before. Okay, and now we're going to just kind of trim the edges a little bit and glue the book, glue it on like that. Now we will glue this up, and I'll do a better job of filming me cutting the other one. We're going to take our glue and just kind of glue it onto here. Don't worry if you get glue on this part, because that's going to be covered eventually anyway. And so there we're doing that, and we're just going to fold it up and pull it tight and wipe off any glue that seeps out. I have yet to figure out the exact amount of glue not to have it seep out. So there we go. That side's done. I'm going to turn it around and we're going to do this side. And I'm also notorious for getting glue on the front, on the covers. So, oh no, I can still see through. Oh no. I don't know when my camera shut off, but I've turned this over and I could still see this image up here. I don't think I can take this off, so I was going to put an image on the cover anyway, and so I think that's what I will have to do, or it can be the back. Now, I'll probably use it for the front and put an image on the front. That's another thing you need to watch out for, boys and girls. Alright, well, let's finish gluing this on. That was a little disappointing. Make sure you can't see through your fabric. I thought with the tissue paper on there it would be okay, but I guess not. Okay, we're going to bring that up. I'm going to wipe off my fingers. Wipe off the board, and then we're going to go to this side. I'm going to get my little bone folder out because we're going to need that in a minute. And now we're going to glue up this side. I always try to make sure I get like on the edge of the board and all the way to the top there. And now this is where I always get my fingers dirty and mess up with the glue. But we're going to push this down, and then what I do is I just kind of hold it with my fingers and then try to bring it up real quick before it pops back out. And that's where I'm always getting glue on everything. See, this got wrinkled a little bit there. But there. Looks good. No glue on it. I'm going to wipe this off just in case. Alright, now we're going to... Oops, I know I keep bumping you, I'm sorry. We're going to do this side. And I don't think I'm going to show my doing the other cover because it's just redundant. I think you can get the idea without seeing it twice. Okay, now we're going to do this again, but I'm going to wipe it off. We're going to push it down. I'm like doing this through the legs of my tripod. Push that down, hold it for a second, and same on this side. I sort of really like using my fingers better, except I'm trying not to get glue on my fingers, because I always do that too. But here we go. And that's all done. Nice and tight. Make sure there's nothing gross on the... Okay, we're done with that. Do you know what else I noticed? This paper is bubbling a little. That's alright, I'm going to cover it. Boy, I'm coming up with problems I did not anticipate. Okay, I'm going to do the other. Oh, show you how I cut. Like, this is too big, so I'm just going to kind of cut off a quarter, 3/4 of an inch or so there. And then we're going to cut the corners like that, leaving about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch. And that's how we did that with the other side. And then we're just going to glue it down just like we did before. Alright, so I have both of my book covers done from the front, and I'm really not liking that I can see the colors through there. I can even read it. My school picture dictionary. It's so frustrating. So I think I'm actually going to either cover this with another layer or make a whole nother cover out of cardboard, but that's going to be hard to get it to be the exact same thickness. Let me see something. As crazy as this may be, I'm going to see if I can take this off and start all over after, oh yeah, after the glue dries. I am going to paint the cover and then cover it up again. I can still use this fabric. It's still okay. It's still in good shape. Doesn't even look like the tissue paper ripped off. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to, I can see some of the tissue paper here. That's just on the corners, on the edges. Alright, this is going to be the end of part 1. Come back to part 2 and see how I finish off the cover, and hopefully it will look better. Thanks for watching, and I hope you're having a great day, and we'll see you again in the next part 2.